Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first VUSSC Voices webinar series. We are thrilled to strengthen the alliances among VUSSC stakeholders and showcase the progress achieved through collaborative development in distant learning. Before we introduce our keynote presenter, Ms. Kevaun Sears, I would like to first introduce you to the VUSSC committee or management committee. And I'll just go through the names and we'll turn our attention to the committee. So I would like to introduce you to Professor Tila Amosa, who is the chair of VUSSC Management Committee, and also Dr. Tony Mays, Director, Education Sector, Commonwealth of Learning, and Dr. Schontal Moore, VUSSC Advisor, Commonwealth of Learning. So if we could turn our attention to this management team as they briefly welcome and give their greetings, and we will come back to our formal introduction of Ms. Kevaun Sears. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I extend warm greetings to you all on behalf of the VUSSC Management Board and the VUSSC Secretariat. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are very excited to have you here for this webinar on COL VUSSC Voices. I believe your presence shows your commitment to information sharing with the VUSSC partners, as well as learning from best practices within our VUSSC community. We look forward to an engaging and insightful session. Thank you.
Over to you, Tony.
Dr. Tony.
Hi, good day, everybody. As introduced, I'm the new director of the education sector at COL, which includes VUSSC, as well as higher education, teacher education, and my own portfolio of open schooling. As you all know, VUSSC was set up some years ago to try and give a voice to the small states of the Commonwealth and to try and encourage ways in which we could collaborate and support one another. That has become more difficult in recent years, with COVID closing down our opportunities to meet and greet. And now post-COVID, the huge increase in the costs of travel. So we're hoping that this VUSSC Voices initiative, this will be the first of many such conversations. This will help us to get back on board and hopefully bring us towards working together again in groups, in teams, working on shared agendas. So this is the first of many such conversations. But we should also be thinking ahead. In a year or so's time, we will be holding the 11th Pan-Commonwealth Forum, which could be a chance for some of us to get together in person to reflect upon what we have achieved this year and to plan what we might like to do going forward. So I see that this initial webinar is the beginning of a renewal of a conversation within the VUSSC community, and I very much look forward to further engagement. Thank you. Back to the chair.
Dr. Moore?
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so very much, Dr. Tomlinson. Colleagues, thank you for being here. I am speaking to those colleagues who are part of the panelist team, as well as those who have logged on from all over the Commonwealth. I am so happy that you have decided to join us for our first webinar entitled VUSSC Voices. So VUSSC, some of you might be wondering about that acronym and what it really means. It might be the first that you're hearing of that VUSSC. It's an acronym which means the Virtual University for Small States of the Commonwealth. And in fact, there are 33 small states in the Commonwealth, and all 33 of us, we bond together to create VUSSC, virtual university for small states. And it means that once you are in a post-secondary institution, you really belong to VUSSC. You are a member, you are a stakeholder in VUSSC. And VUSSC really is creating a space for us to come together to share our concerns, our issues, or challenges. As small states, we're in a unique position, and we have matters and concerns, cares, which are pertinent to us. Whereas the big voices, they get to air their concerns often. The small states sometimes don't have that space. And so VUSSC creates that opportunity, and we're extending it through VUSSC Voices, a webinar series that we are kicking off today. And we hope to have a session every other month. So bi-monthly, just for an hour, where we talk about our challenges and how we work around the challenges to build capacity in our institutions and to ensure that our individual small state gets to develop and grow. And that is the role of the VUSSC as well as COL, where we collaborate with the universities of the small states to help them, to empower them to achieve their educational goals and objectives, retraining, upscaling, whatever the case might be of their educational endeavors. So today we are very happy and looking forward to hearing about the experiences of one such institution. And so I encourage you to listen to the unique position and perspective that will be shared. And as you listen, I want you to contemplate, how is it that your small state that you're in, how can you leverage the information that you're going to hear from Kevaun today, as well as think about what is your unique challenge or situation that is being, encountered within your small state. And if it is that you need the support and collaboration from the VUSSC network to get you through, we want you to consider that and look towards letting us know here at COL so that we can collaborate and work with you as a community. So thank you very much for being here. That's my 2 cents that I'm putting out, and I turn over to Lisa, the chair, again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Schontal. And if I can echo what you have said, just very, 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 very quickly, I'm seeing this enthusiasm, the diversity and inclusion of the Commonwealth countries being represented here. I'm seeing Carousel, I'm seeing Guyana coming from Kevaun School. I'm just at Ghana, Trinidad. So I like the way we're representing the different areas as well as the institutions. So welcome again for those of you who've just come in. So let's turn our attention to Kevaun Sears, who's going to be sharing her experiences and stories with the project. Kevaun Sears is from the Cyrill Potter College of Education in Guyana. So I'll say no more. She's all ready and set. Over to you, Kevaun.
Thank you, Chair, very much. Good afternoon, everyone, colleagues, members of the COL committees. I'm very pleased to be here today to share our experience with the rest of the states, and hopefully some of what we will talk about you can relate to, and maybe we can have some conversations afterwards. I would like to apologize as I start for any hiccups I may encounter with my tech, my videos, and my audio. I don't foresee any, but just in the event I have any difficulties. So again, I'm Kevaun Sears, and I started working with VUSSC in 2020 under the then advisor, Dr. Moret Newman, when COVID really affected, I guess, everyone, and the world was, standing still. So for us here in Guyana, our challenges were mountainous. And I really want you to have a sense of what happens here, what Guyana is like, what our country is like. So I have a really brief, fun video I just want to share with you, just so you can grab a little insight into Guyana. So give me 1 second.
Let's go. Guyana is located on the north coast of mainland South America. It is bordered by Suriname in the east, Venezuela in the west, Brazil in the south and southwest, and the Atlantic Ocean in the north. The official name of Guyana is the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The word Guyana has indigenous origins and is said to mean land of many waters. The capital of Guyana is Georgetown. Guyana is approximately 215,000 square kilometers, which is equivalent to 83,000 square miles. Fun fact, Guyana is the 4th smallest country in South America. It's only larger than Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guyana. The official language of Guyana is English, which makes it the only English-speaking country in South America. The population of Guyana is said to be approximately 800,000. The national flag of Guyana has 5 colors and is called the Golden Arrowhead. The national dish is a meat-based dish of indigenous origin called pepper pot. Our national anthem is called Dear Land of Guyana, and the last verse says, Dear Land of Guyana, to you will we give our homage or service each day that we live.
Apologies. So that is a real quick look at Guyana, the country. I want to elaborate a little bit on the geography of Guyana. So if you noticed, the name Guyana means land of many waters. And so while our capital city, Georgetown, resembles, any typical city, really across the length and breadth of Guyana, the terrain is one of the most difficult things that we really had to learn how to overcome when we were faced with COVID. Getting to parts of Guyana would require flights or boat rides, followed by hours of either walking or using ATVs and such kinds of transportation. Guyana is, when we talk about Guyana and its administrative regions, we talk about the coast, the coastal regions, which are those regions that are much more populated. They are supplied by power on a everyday, what we would call a regular basis. Internet connectivity is fairly accessible, and so on. And then we have the hinterland regions, the hinterland communities, which are the more native and untouched regions. And we have 4 such regions, and those are the areas that we really had the challenges in terms of meeting our candidates. So the Searle Potter College of Education, which is the only sole teacher training institution here in Guyana, has the mandate of providing initial teacher training to teachers who have begun working without being trained, or potential teachers who wish to enter the profession. And the Searle Potter College of Education has been around now for over 9 decades. It's a very traditional and age-old institution, and its values are pinned in what education looked like from several decades ago. When COVID did hit in 2019, 2020, we really had very little in terms of our response. Up until that time, our instruction, while we did provide distance education, our instruction was to a very large extent face-to-face and some through correspondence. We used the modules for those difficult regions that I just mentioned. And so when COVID presented and we were not allowed to meet in person, well, for a few months, the institution really had to shut its doors. During that time, we tried our best to think of ways that we could continue. We had a cohort or two in training. We were offering several of our programs, and they were in limbo. They basically training stopped for them as the institution tried to find a solution. In the initial months, we would have tried just about anything. We tried WhatsApp, we tried Google Classrooms. Those who had that skill and knew of that app and could use the technology, tried Google Classroom. Those who could do Zoom, did Zoom. So it was more of an ad hoc approach. It was definitely could not be a one-size-fits-all because the availability of some of the options in all of the regions just it was not there. So we operated like that for a little while, and through the office of our Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priyamanik-Chan, in the late 2020, in about October, we were able to secure through COL, that's when our collaboration at that time began. We were able to have access to a platform called hosted Moodle for the college. Initially, our capacity was supposed to be 300 students, 300 learners. And we began, that's when the COL and CPCE Connection began. In late 2020, our first order of business was to provide training for faculty, which we did. We also worked on developing courses. That was an obvious immediate need. And we looked at some infrastructural procurements and so on. However, being an age-old, like I mentioned, we're almost 98 years in existence. CPC really had to sit down and while we had to prioritize what was needed at the very beginning, we also knew that partnering with COL and VUSSC had to be a long-term arrangement because of the amount of things that we would have wanted to address. So in our first phase of the project, which is building capacity to deliver online courses, we focused on developing 28 courses, and we provided access to designing and teaching online courses to the then full-time staff on hand. The course was made available to just about 50 full-time staff members and some adjunct staff. We were able to complete those 28 courses and develop just about 70 to some degree of completeness, varying degrees of completeness. As I said, that was the immediate need. We had a cohort that we needed to complete training for. In designing those courses, we also were able to identify some faculty leads, and we made the decision to have those leads train new staff and any other part-time adjunct staff who we would have needed to add to the faculty as the program or programs continued. We are more than happy to say that at this time, when the second phase of this training began, our full-time number of staff has now grown to well over 100. That initial capacity of 300 learners on the platform was from the very beginning, we exceeded that capacity, and we are now hosting our own through our ministry's information systems unit. And we have more than 5,000 users on our platform currently. The number of courses that we have developed to date exceed 130. However, in the two phases of the project that we've done thus far with COL, COL would have examined and assessed just about 40 of those. So much of the work that has been done by the faculty after each stage of training, and with the addition of new programs that the college has been able to offer. We have added some new programs to what we previously offered. So previously, the institution offered a trained teaching certificate program to all teachers and potential teachers. That was a 3-year program. Those who were on the coast did that training in person, those in the hinterland through correspondence with some in-person tutorials. At this point, we have been able to change that, and we are now offering an associate degree to all teachers and potential teachers in every part of the country. That's a 2-year program. We started with the associate degree in general education, and we've now been able to add an associate degree in special education, an associate degree in health and family life education, and an associate degree in literacy studies. We've also been able to add a 1-year program for technical instructors and a 1-year program for graduate teacher educators. So having the opportunity to work in a true ODL environment has allowed the CPCE to expand its doors. I want to, if you will allow me, share with you some excerpts of some discussions that we've had with different officers at the institution. If you'll allow me also to share with you some feedback from members of staff who would have been exposed to the training, and also from one of our current students.
Like many other educational institutions around the world, the COVID-19 pandemic provided new challenges to how institutions were able to continue in their functional, in their role of providing education. And the Sears College of Education was no different. Thankful though to some interventions through the Office of the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Kevaun, we were able to collaborate with the Commonwealth of Learning. And this year, we completed our second project, and we're here to talk with some of our faculty members about how they would have benefited from that project. So with me, it's Ms. Rosemary DeCosta from the Modern Language Department, Ms. Hannah Jagu, and Mr. Delry Swavin, both from the Mathematics Department. So welcome, colleagues, and thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. So Delry, we'll start with you. We want to hear about how you benefited as an educator. How did you personally benefit from the training that you received from the Commonwealth?
Thank you very much for that question, Ms. Sears. The training program provided by the Commonwealth of Learning was very beneficial. Personally, I improved my presentation skills, and content creation skills has improved tremendously. Before this training program, I've never worked professionally in terms of the Moodle platform and creating content. So the program, the training provided by the program has enhanced my capabilities, has enhanced my skills in terms of creating content. The training program was very informative, very interactive. We have gained new insights. We have been shown new skills, new technologies in terms that we can utilize on the platform. Creating content on the platform is very simple for me now. I think I'm a professional in that capacity now. So thank you so much for the opportunity given to us by the Commonwealth of Ghana.
Thank you. And Hannah, the same question.
Thank you, Ms. Sears. Thank you for having me. Well, first of all, I must begin by saying that I would have found this training incredibly beneficial. Like Delmy, I was new to the Moodle platform. And so at first, I found it a bit challenging when I was navigating through the courses. However, I am happy to say that after my training with COL, I am now in a position where I can create and design online courses more effectively. As a matter of fact, I can now assess my students online and do so with ease by using tools like the quiz feature, the assignment, and the forum features that are available on Moodle. So I am extremely grateful for the training that I would have received. And I must say it has helped me to embrace the 21st century skills into my teaching practice. And more importantly, it has helped me to meet the diverse needs of my students.
Excellent. And I know the COL facilitator, Dr. Schontal, many of you have already expressed to me how amazing she was in leading the training. Rosemary, the same question to you. How did you personally grow and benefit from the training?
Well, for me, it was a tremendous benefit because in the beginning, when I came to CPC, I have no knowledge of Moodle platform, and that for me it was a great training, and I appreciate very much for the Ministry of Education to give me this opportunity. And now I have this wonderful pleasure, brings me great pleasure to create my own courses, and also brings a great benefit for my students because they learn new languages. They great the knowledge on the language. They can practice, they can have opportunity to practice anytime, a great flexibility, and that is for the countries are great also to make it grows. And in the future, Guyanese students can teach all over schools in the country. Those wonderful languages, Spanish, Portuguese, and now have French.
Right. And you know, it's been decades since we've been able to offer French at CPC. So we're really, really pleased with where we are at this time. So let's say we're in a room with prospective candidates. How would you encourage them to come to CPC? How would you help to build anticipation for what your courses will allow them to do in the accessing training at CPC?
Thank you so much. It's an amazing question. So I work specifically on the elementary calculus course. I've had the privilege of designing that course. And in terms of designing that course, some of the things that we focus on is ensuring that the information there is coherent, it's logical, and of course, most importantly, is mathematically sound. And so what I want, the information there can reach students from any part in our country. And what I would say to our students, because when people look at calculus, they think that it's very abstract, it's very difficult. And so one of the things that we focus on, and of course, the skills and the training provided by COL is that it focuses in terms of making information here diverse and it's so that it caters for any type of learner. And so whatever is your learning preference, whatever is your learning style, the content that is created here, the type of interactive material that is created here makes Calculus now, if you look at the page, you look at what is created here now, Calculus looks refreshing, it looks very friendly. And so that is what we're working on. In this new era of mathematics, we're working on making mathematics look more friendly, right? And so I want to say specifically to those prospective students who want to take up particularly mathematics as a major, is that we have the tools, we have the facility, we have the technology, we have the resource, we have the personnel that will take you through everything. It's a supportive environment with the Moodle platform, particularly Calculus. It's a supportive environment, it's a conducive environment. You don't have to have a whole wealth of skill in technology to interact on or use the platform, right? So sure, perfect. We're here to support you, and it's going to be a wonderful experience.
As a mathematician myself, I am extremely pleased to hear that. And how about you and your students?
So I've had the privilege to work on the vectors, matrices, and transformation course. Now, what I can say to our prospective students is that the courses, particularly vectors, matrices, and transformation, it's user-friendly, meaning that students will be able to navigate through the course with ease. As a matter of fact, the course materials such as the modules, the course outlines, textbooks, they are well organized and easily accessible. So for the students there, another benefit is that it allows for flexibility, meaning that teacher candidates can now be in the comfort of their homes and have access to almost all of their courses, not only for mathematics courses. And so they can do so too at their convenience. In fact, they can even complete and submit assessments from the comfort of their homes and again at their convenience. So for the students who are desirous of attending CPCE, I would like to assure them that the online courses at CPCE will transform their learning experience and it will draw them closer to academic success.
Excellent. So Zamira talked to us a little bit about the French. So now we are focused on the hinterlands because you have the desire to, these hinterlands also learn those modern language. And we all know that CPC is a college specialized on modern language. So our focus is to have those hinterland students to have profit of the modern language, and that you have this flexibility on Moodle platform. They can, like means, don't have flexibility to get in anytime. And this is our opportunity because we touch all over Guyana. All the hinterland have this opportunity also to taste what the French language is good. Salut tout le monde, nous savons tous que le collège Cyrill d'éducation est spécialisé dans la langue française. Si vous prévenez apprendre cette langue magnifique, la langue française.
So what she said. We want to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and prospective candidates, especially if you're thinking about teaching as a profession. Visit CPC, interact with our faculty members, and we know if your heart is in teaching, this is the place to do your initial training. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. So coming out of the projects, we've begun a series A really short podcast. We have completed a couple of episodes and we have a few more that are in production. Talking to everyone about what the college has been able to do since collaborating with COL through VUSSC. And those are just a few of the academic staff talking about their experience with the designing and teaching online course. But what has been the real impact? Well, the changes for us, apart from reestablishing the way we operate, we went from an institution that was mainly an in-person, face-to-face type of teaching learning approach to now offering this blended approach, a true online distance learning environment. And we've been able to attract candidates even from countries outside of Guyana. So our enrollment up until just about 2019 would have typically been just around 500, 550. We were unable, we were just not in a position to welcome a cohort in 2020. And when we were able to reopen our doors to provide teacher training again in 2021, our enrollment was 2,500 and just about 86. So we were almost 5 times immediately. The enrollment was almost 5 times what we averaged in previous years. Of course, we had a new challenge in that we still had the same faculty size. We still had the same buildings and infrastructure. And so we still have need. We've made quite a bit of progress, but we still have need for a lot more in terms of space and expanding and establishing centers. And so one of my colleagues would have talked just now about hinterland, and as I would have mentioned, those are the regions that are the furthest away and the ones most difficult to reach. And we've been able to train some of those teachers in those regions right there where they are. And we've continued to provide residency for those who have opted for the specializations that they really cannot do where they live. So we continue to provide that support. We have resident capacity of just about 250 students. And so we continue to make the hinterland regions a priority for that access. I would like to share with you another quick excerpt from one of the administrators here at CPCE who has that oversight for the centers. We have 20 active centers. And when we speak about our centers, we have the main campus, which is one of those. But then we have these satellite centers in every region of Guyana. In some regions, we have up to 3 to cater for the geography. It is not easy for some of our candidates to attend, classes or a meeting because they have to travel for days. They have to leave home, travel for days, stay a few days, and things like that. That's Guyana. And as much as we have been able to expand and improve the way we provide training, we still have that as part of our culture, and we still continue to work to meet those needs. So I want to just share from the vice principal. Sorry about that.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Granville. Now, in your portfolio as the vice principal with responsibility for distance education here at the Sears College of Education, could you share a few thoughts on how training at CPCE has impacted the educational landscape in Guyana since its collaboration with the Commonwealth of Learning began in the late 2020?
Thank you, Ms. Sears, for having me. Firstly, our collaboration with COL has seen a significant increase in the number of teacher candidates who are accessing training in our hinterland communities or villages. If you must remember, previously they only had access to the trained teacher certificate, which was a 3-year program certification. Now they actually have access to the associate degree in education program. They can now access all of the programs, for example, early childhood, primary, secondary academic, and secondary TVET. Additionally, they are privy to the new programs offered by the college, such as SEND, HFLE, and literacy. Another great benefit from this collaboration with COL, especially for hinterland, the quality of instruction has improved significantly. Our lecturers, our tutors, they are now more equipped to function in a true online distance education learning environment because they have benefited through professional development in the collaboration with COL. They benefited in terms of diversity and differentiation in terms of content, pedagogy, teaching strategies, assessment strategies, and in that manner, they're able now to deliver in a more effective manner. They have also benefited because they can now access the Moodle platform. So they are aware of all of the elements that Moodle comprises. You can see the courses, access the courses, the resources, the assessments, the learning, how to maneuver the platform. So this collaboration with COL is one that is greatly appreciated, and we hope that you can continue so that you can improve the quality of education and instruction that is being offered to our teacher candidates from our hinterland region.
So as the 2024-2025 school year began for us this week, the government of Guyana is building, I think we're building about 5 new schools. We're renovating well over 30 schools. We have built a new school of sciences, and we're able to do that because as of our last graduating cohort in 2023, as a country, we for the first time were able to report that 98% of all of our teachers were either trained or in training. We were never able to achieve that up until last year. And so that's a direct result of this intervention. It started with that 2021 cohort that was just provided the right opportunity for so many teachers to stay where they were and access training. We continue to work as a nation, of course, to meet 100% trained or in training by 2025. What are the next steps for us? We are at this point, as I said, we have created over 130 courses, and we would really want to have an opportunity to work to have those standardized. Additionally, we were able to begin by developing policy for what we do as an institution. So we were able to write a distance education policy with support from COL, a consultant, Dr. Laura Pilgrim. And so the institution, again, we're over 9 decades old, but we're now moving towards accreditation, and that policy really is the backbone on which everything is being built. We, of course, have other policies that we know we do need to develop to support what we're doing. And we look forward very much to continuing our partnership with VUSSC. And I cannot end the presentation without thanking Dr. Marette Newman, who would have started this work with us. I thank her very much. And I look forward to working with the new advisor, Dr. Schontal Moore. And here ends my presentation.
Thank you very much, Kevaun, for that presentation. Very thorough. I liked how you started off with the presentation, the geography, because it was a very nice link to the way in which we sometimes forget how geography plays a very important role in education and how it can also impact it negatively, how you spoke about the hinterlands and how it was, the project reached out to that. And what my question is, and I'm going to open up the floor. We don't have much time, so I just have 2 questions, and then I'm going to go to the participants or viewers. So I know during COVID time, it exposed a lot of inequalities in the school system and education. And you talked about, how you went online. And I know COL is really about inclusion. So you want to tell us how, other than just in terms of the students living in remote areas, in what ways did they achieve or succeed in achieving inclusion in this project?
So thank you for the question, Dr. Tomlinson. One of the main goals of our project with with the 2 that we've done so far was to ensure that what we did provide an opportunity for gender equality. And we did that by ensuring that our courses are designed in such a way that regardless of gender, our candidates have the freedom to access. And in fact, we've seen a great increase in the number of males who have enrolled because they're able to work and stay at home. In previous years, males rarely attended CPCE, even though they may have been employed to teach for a short time. They rarely attended CPCE because it meant having to give up their jobs, taking care of their families, and coming out to the Turkine in the city to be trained. Now they have the opportunity to stay at home, to work, and to care for their families while accessing training. In terms of geography as well, we continue to establish hubs in regions where internet connectivity is not as easily accessible as others, but our candidates do have the opportunity at their schools, in some regions at their schools or at educational centers where they can have access to the internet through provisions made by the government. And they're able to access Moodle, they're able to interact with their lecturers, they're able to interact with colleagues, and that has helped certainly to boost the academic, the teaching and learning process for many of our learners.
Much thanks. I like that that increase in male students. That's interesting how online learning, brought in that increase. And just my last question, I'm going to throw this out to the participants here is, you spoke about the institution being 90 years old, if I'm correct, over 90 years old. So it's very traditional. And I know with tradition comes pushback. So having to bring on on board on online learning. I know you also mentioned, which we saw, a lot of the 3 of the faculty members were very open to it. Like, what was the pushback like after 90 years of talk and talk and coming into the bringing forth online learning?
Well, the truth is we were really at a position where there was no other way. In person was not an option, and we had no choice but to embrace the opportunity that we were given. I am very happy to say that many of the lecturers who we've had here for years, even some of our lecturers who would have retired and returned to the profession, well into their 60s, took the time to participate in the training, to prepare courses, develop courses, maybe some of them not on their own, but they took the opportunity to work with their colleagues, and they also embraced the opportunity to teach virtually when that was needed. So yes, it was difficult to give up your room and, you know, seeing your students. We still have some of our courses that just by the very nature of the courses must include some of that. But our lecturers, I'm very happy to say they embraced the changes, and the pushback was minimal.
Thank you very much. And I saw that I could hear it from the faculty, the members of faculty sharing the story. It sounded as though they themselves got an opportunity to make themselves techie or yeah, so I had no choice, as you said. So I guess that was one of the benefits as well. Alrighty, so I had more questions, but I will not, maybe one of these days we could sit down and talk about some of the results that you spoke about or outcomes. So I'm going to turn it over to the participants. I see two questions in the chat. I see a question says, or comment, as we embrace advanced technology, we are also faced with the influence of AI, which affects distance learning. My current research on AI in education indicates that there are both positive and negative impacts, but it appears that the negative impacts have a stronger influence, especially on the credibility of education activities in relation to AI in distant learning. What do you think about how AI should be integrated into distant learning so that it is not unfairly criticized and does not diminish the value of distant learning education? That's a chunk.
But it's an observation we do share. And I did mention that one of the things the college does intend to do is to work on the development of further policies, and one has to be on academic integrity and the use of things like AI and so on. We do have the challenge with online assessments, especially. And our lecturers, I know my colleagues have used the tools, the reshuffling and the using Windows to offer the assessments and so on. And of course, we cannot eliminate it all, but it's a conversation that we are having, and we do intend to sit down and develop some policies around the use of AI and several other matters or issues that can affect academic integrity. And there's something we have on our agenda to work on very, very shortly.
Thanks very much. And I guess that AI has become a monster for some of us, even face-to-face, well, we have to deal with it as well. The last question I have coming from the participants, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Moore for her takeaway, and then we can wrap up. What are some of the strategies that CPC used to address the gap between faculty size and the increase in enrollment? And that is a question from one of the participants.
Right. So, well, initially, I said initially, the enrollment was a huge surprise, and it presented a new challenge. So, because we train pre-service or potential teachers during the day, and or in service or teachers who are in training in the evening, we were able to use the staff in different groups. We had no choice but to employ several part-time lecturers as well to supplement our full-time staff in order to meet those needs. And initially, we did continue to work with correspondence. So we did make modules and so on available, and try to, as far as it was possible, to stagger that kind of instruction and instructional timeline so that we could engage our learners. It's a learning curve. We're still learning, but I'm happy that as we've hit these peaks, we are just very slowly beginning to see our numbers reduce to one that we're a lot more comfortable with. For instance, this year, our enrollment, we're still pretty high. Our enrollment is just about 1,600. But our faculty is now just about 100 and full-time. We've increased to over 120. So in terms of managing our centers are also now recruiting staff to take care of the learners in the different regions. So the burden of the instruction is not on the full-time staff here at the main campus, but we continue to support each other as an institution. We continue to support each other wherever our campuses are, and we're getting the work done.
Thank you, Kevaun. And there are no more questions, but I do see a lot of big ups and excellent commendations. Yes, I see that from your past students, participants, and so forth. So I'll just end it there, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Moore, and then we'll end with our closing.
Okay, thanks so very much, Lisa. Before I speak to Kevaun, I see that Leendert and Shahad, they have their hands up. So Leendert, I'm giving you 30 seconds to do your thing. Go ahead. Leendert, you can unmute and go ahead and speak. All right, not hearing from Leendert. So Shahad, over to you. Unmute and go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
All right, so a pleasant good afternoon here in Guyana. Ms. Sears, you've done a very good job, and also Commonwealth of Learning in this collaboration. For a TTE student, it's a lot going on here with technical vocational education. And I think CPCE is pushing on that level also, so that's pretty good. Apart from that, COL, we are doing some part with Kanta, with you guys also in another part in Jamaica and Trinidad. So, the collaboration is there in the whole Caribbean countries, and I do support it. And I do also push my colleagues and the whole, citizens, students and non-citizens, non-students are, to support that initiative. So again, congrats to both parties and to all the others who was involved in it.
Okay, thanks so very much, Shahad. Go ahead, Kevaun.
I just said thank you.
All right, Kevaun, thank you so very much for your presentation. You gave us a very comprehensive and interesting portrayal of what led up to the collaboration between CPCE and COL, the process of that, the output, but I'm very impressed by the impact in terms of how it has impacted the institution. The growth has been phenomenal, as well as, moving beyond the institution to the national development and how it is promoting national development in the area of education in Guyana. And at COL, we are thankful for that. So just want to say congrats, and on behalf of the president of the Commonwealth of Learning, Professor Peter Scott, who is away in Europe at the moment, just want to, to say that he would appreciate hearing this information coming out and how he wants to continue with that kind of support. And also to say that Cyrill Potter College of Education is just one of the institutions in Guyana that COL has worked with intimately to address some of their issues. We've also worked with NSERD, that's the National Center for Educational Resources, working with the officers there responsible for training, upgrading teachers, continuous professional development. COL has played a role in that too. We have also worked with NAC, that's the National Accreditation Authority in Guyana, and we continue to work with NAC. We have worked with the University of Guyana in terms of transitioning their youth bachelor's program into an online program, and the Ministry of Education. And the work doesn't stop, it continues, because that's the mandate of COL, to support educational advancement across the Commonwealth. We also want to, in terms of the takeaways, I am thankful that we're learning of the stories of CPCE. Without Kevaun sharing today, without the voice articulating what were the challenges, the concerns, some of the strategies for amelioration and improvement, we probably would not have known of the progress that has been made at your institution and the work that COL is doing. And so we're thankful for that. And we want to signal to other universities, post-secondary institutions across the Commonwealth that hearing the story of Cyrill Potter can also be a case study that applies to you on two levels. One, in that in VUSSC, we are about collaboration. We are about sharing of resources. So what has been achieved at Cyrill Potter College of Education, we don't have to reinvent the wheel at other post-secondary institutions. If you are in need, you have particular areas that are similar or different that need to be addressed, you can reach out to us at the Commonwealth of Learning, VUSSC, so that we can understand your particular issue and see how we can pair you with another institution to have your issues worked through for institutional advancement as well. So I don't want you to sit in your institution and thinking that, you know, this is outside of you, it is not possible. VUSSC is about collaboration, we're about networking, we're about putting you in touch with the experts so that whatever your situation is, that is addressed. So on one level, that is the reality. The second level too is that we want to get the community going. Dr. May spoke about it at the outset about getting the conversations going where, you know, we share, we collaborate. And so as we move forward over the next year, as we do these seminars, we want you to come out of them. We want you to hear the stories. We want to also see where you can take positives from the stories to enhance your institution, and also where we can help you in a tangible way. There's a line in COL's documentation which says that COL is an enabler, and we're an enabler in a good way, in that we want to help institutions to grow and to develop. So just want to position those two things out there so that you know it is not just a CPCE benefit, that it can be beneficial to all. In the Commonwealth, we have focal points in all the countries. And if it is that, you know, you're not able to reach out to us immediately, you can do that kind of routing through your focal points. We have that collaboration with them. So please get to know your focal points, and let's see how it is that as a community, we can help to strengthen you. And so we just want to thank you again, Kevaun, VP at Cyrill Potter College of Education. Very happy and proud of the work that you guys are doing there and how you have built on it. And we just look forward to hearing great and greater things coming out of CPCE. We will have our next webinar where we will spotlight another Commonwealth country and another institution that has collaborated with VUSSC and the Commonwealth of Learning, so that you can hear about what their peculiar situation was and how that got addressed and how you can benefit from that going forward. So look out for our notice scheduling sometime in November for webinar number 2. And we close out with a survey. We're going to ask you, as you step away from this webinar, to just quickly fill out the 10-question survey so that we can get feedback about how you found the webinar and how we can help to make it more responsive to your needs. So again, thank you, participants. We had around 93 strong at one point, coming from different parts of the world. Hip hip hooray. I know it's late for some of you, and you stayed up and you're here, and we're thankful for that. So thank you for being here. We also want to thank our panelists for their contributions. Professor Patilla Amosa from Tonga, Dr. Tony Mays from Canada, Dr. Lisa Tomlinson from Jamaica, Miss Carol Walker from Canada as well. And I just look forward to working with all of you as we move forward. I am yours truly, Schontal Moore. I am now the VUSSC advisor at the Commonwealth of Learning. So thank you very much and have a great rest of the day. Thank you.